do it, because I'll tell you, in all the years I've been here, I've never seen us give up to $40 off, so it's a really great deal there. Look at this set. Oh, wow, this is gorgeous. This is the 2010 America the Beautiful 5-ounce silver bullion set, and look at how amazing.
From the first year of issue. Now, we had 200 sets that we sold out of the original government boxes. We opened those up on the air. We sold all 200. I was able to get 2 tubes of each. Okay, there's 10 coins in each tube. Okay. 2 tube sets that are out there. There's no more box sets that are out there. And so what I did, I was able, and when I bought them, they came in these fantastic red oak presentation box. Well, when the United States government started making the America the Beautiful program because of the success of the state quarter program in 2010, they did something very interesting. They decided to go ahead and make each one of the quarters in solid 5 ounces of silver,
oh my gosh,
making it the largest silver coin that the United States government has ever made.
Ever.
So when they released these in 2010, the mint state coins, they only made 33,000 of each coin.
Okay.
So there's only 33,000 of these sets in existence, and most of the coins were sent out singly. And they did the same thing. They were only available through what were called the authorized purchasers, the APs. The government did not sell the mint state coins directly to the United States public. Okay. When they did this, it created one of the greatest issues in numismatic history, because they were so eagerly anticipated that the price quadrupled or quintupled even before they were released. It became such an issue that the government forbid the authorized purchasers from selling any of them for months and months until they sorted it out to make sure, because their idea was to put a lot of silver bullion, in essence, into the marketplace. Okay. And that was all they wanted to do, is they just wanted to put big 5-ounce chunks of silver. When they're not made by the government, we call them literally glunks, because they're big glunks of silver. But when the government didn't realize is they made a coin. And so all of a sudden it's not just, and you have to understand, this is 25 ounces of silver.
Wow.
This is 25 ounces of silver, okay? And I've only got 20 of these. Okay. This is a regular quarter right here. This is the quarter when it's done in 5 ounces. Each coin is 5 ounces of pure silver. Okay. So when we say it's a 5-ounce set, it's not like each one's 1 ounce. Each one's 5 ounces, and this is the first year of issue. So they did 33,000 sets. To put that into perspective, in 1995, they did the 10th anniversary American Silver Eagle. It's the rarest of all American Silver Eagles. They made 30,125 of those, about the same number. Okay. Those coins in this condition sell for about $5,000 a piece.
Oh my goodness.
And they have 1 ounce of silver.
Yeah.
So 5 of those would be 25 grand. These are basically just as rare, and they're 5 individual coins, and they're 5 ounces of silver each. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can get the edge here. It says so right on the edge of the coin.
Oh, they did edge lettering on this too.
Oh, they did edge lettering here, where it says 999 fine silver, 5 ounces. See that? Yeah. 999 fine silver, 5 ounces. And there it is. That's Yosemite right there. Wow. So these are the first 5. So this is the entire 2010 set. Okay. This is the entire 2010 set. The issue with this, of course, is very simply that there are very few sets in existence. Mm-hmm. Because then when they finally released them, they went out kind of individually. Mm-hmm. And so there's a person that has this one or has this one or has this one, because these are, when they did these, starting in 2010, following that model of the state quarters, they decided to do them in the order of statehood. So these are the first 5 national parks from America. Okay. So that's going to be Hot Springs was first, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, and Mount Hood. So those are America's first 5 national parks. They were done in 2010. We sell these on a regular basis since then. Yeah. And I mean, the brand new ones that are like just out are like $199 a piece. Yeah. Because, I mean, you know, there's only, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 of those coins Some of the ones like Cumberland Gap, some of those get as much as 70 or 75,000 coins. Okay. But this is the original coins. So it'd be $1,000 if it was the ones that were released in 2016.
Oh my goodness.
But this is the first year of issue. Yeah. Some of the rarest, most desirable, most sought after coins. So make no mistake about this. This is an actual coin, folks. Mm-hmm. This is not, so oftentimes when you see these big silver things, it's done by like someone else who's doing medallions or something like that, and they're doing it as a commemorative of an actual coin.
Right.
This is an actual coin made by the United States government. Each one of these contain 5 ounces of pure silver. I would challenge you to go out there and find these anywhere, let alone in their own individual airtight holders in this custom presentation case. Like I said, I had original government boxes, which we believe are the last 2 sets of government boxes. There was 100 sets in each one of those box sets. Okay. We sold those in 2 airings. Sold 100 in one airing and 100 in the other airing. I think you were there for one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
These are 20 additional sets that we have. Those 200 sets were gone. I've only got 20 of these. So once again, we already have several of these gone as well, you can imagine.
Right.
Because this is an historic coin. I mean, we're about to, I think next week, I will release the first coin from 2017. Oh. I was able to get 1,000 coins, okay, which is more than anybody else is going to be able to have. We will sell them out almost assuredly in a single airing. Like, it's like, for instance, we sold the Bombay hook coin. Okay, I remember that. I think at the time, because silver was a little low, we sold them for like $149. Wow. Well, they're like $279 now. Okay, so there are many of these coins that are out there that are the same price. We're down to basically, when you count in the box, look at this beautiful box.
The box is gorgeous.
Isn't the box spectacular that you're going to see this red egg presentation box? We're $299 a coin. Wow. You have to understand the brand new ones, because there's such an incredible intrinsic value. Understand, you have 25 ounces of silver. There's almost 1.5 pounds of silver, pure silver in this, because each one weighs 5 ounces. But these are the 2010s. These are sold out a half a decade ago.
That's right. This is where it all began. This is where the collection began. I think that's, to me, what's even the most exciting, is because for a lot of people, in order to get this, they had to cherry pick. They had to go find Yosemite and then go find Hot Springs or Mount Hood. But with this, you're getting all of them. You're getting the entire first year.
Right. And that's the key, is you have the set. Occasionally you can find this coin, and you can find this coin, and you can find this coin, and you can find this coin. And good luck finding those even for $2.99. But to find the entire set, absolutely stunning. Because I got original, and that's a great, look at this. You can see, I mean, it is virtually proof-like when you see that right there. Now, I had this same set certified 70. Years ago when it first came out, I think we were $4,700.
Oh, my goodness.
$4,700 certified. I've got them beautiful, stunning, choice brilliant uncirculated, gem brilliant uncirculated, once again, in their own individual airtight holders. So you can hold them, you can see that. It's just absolutely spectacular. And there you go, $999 fine silver, 5 ounces each coin. 25 ounces, so you have the intrinsic, the backdrop of the intrinsic value of these, the fact that it's 5 ounces of pure silver, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you've got the coin value. There's only 33,000. They would be basically the rarest silver eagles that were ever made. So if you took like the 2011, the second rarest American silver eagle right now is the 2011 25th anniversary coin. They made 100,000 of those. Those coins, we sell them here for $1,000 a piece. These coins are 3 times rare. So this would supplant, if they were an American silver eagle, it would supplant that coin, but not at $1,000, but at $299 a coin in essence, since we're selling them all just like this.
That's right.
At $299 a coin, plus they've got 5 times the silver, because each one's 5 ounces. So you get 25 ounces of silver. Look, it wasn't that long ago that the silver in this would have melted for $1,250.
Easily.
When silver went to $50 an ounce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the beauty of this, the backdrop of the intrinsic value, the incredible rarity, first year of issue, presentation box. Of course, so rare, I've only got 2 tubes, which is 20 sets total. With everybody on the phone, I don't even know, I have no idea what we have left, maybe a handful.
And I hope you're not planning to air this later on this evening, because I mean, these are very popular this morning, as you can imagine. First year, as you heard, this set in particular, the way you see it presented right here, you you are the first and might be the only to get a chance to pick this up. And in our last couple of seconds, as you're taking a look at all 5 coins that you're getting, the entire first year of this collection, of the America the Beautiful collection, and the case that it comes in. This is not just for display.